Oh, yo, what up? All right, let's dive into it. Thursday, big expansion, end of the month, and yeah, day after FOMC. It's a big day, a lot of confluences, a lot of sauce in this video, so keep up. 7160, I was saying if it held would produce 7240. I'll get into why I was mapping that out. Obviously, that was the low and high of the New York session, so very happy with that. Order flow basically mixed with standard deviation, kind of gave it away. And then also, just golden pocket, I guess. Those are kind of my three pillars. But we get into all of it, just how the week is shaping up and overall targets and what I'm looking at. So let's dive into it. I'm just going to delete some of this, so I'll put it in after. So we have, look at this week. Again, I'm looking at ES because I know where a lot of the big players are involved. After Thursday's manipulation lower, I saw buyers start to accumulate and protect 7140 area. So I saw a lot of buying in that area. So that's basically where I was looking for it to hold. I'm just going to point out, if you didn't see it, there's on ES, lower low right there. So this is a manipulation leg because on NQ it was right there and right there. So higher low, lower low here. So I mapped it out there. That gave me the roadmap to start out. Saw initial rejection off the 2 standard deviations, so I knew this was probably a valid map for longs above. And then I've just been kind of playing those levels and seeing where they line up, other confluences stuff. So we actually did reject on 2.5 standard deviation at the beginning of the week. That was just above. That was Monday Asia session, so Monday high technically was already created in New York session. So yeah, it's a good peak above and then move towards the other end of the range or back into value in this case. Look at all this volume in here. You do not want to be involved in here. You want to be involved when you see when you're outside in, so outside trading in and then to the other side, or if you see a break above and then a continuation move higher. So I'll show you how I played it because it actually worked out quite well. So reject there. Let's take a look at low to high. So Thursday manipulation low from last week. Or I'm just taking the last major in general. What you do is last major swing low to high here. So we're looking for continuation longs and where we would want to get involved because we don't want to get chopped up. And this will help you do that. So what do we have here? Golden pocket, 0.618 to 0.69, also known as OTE, optimal trade entry from ICT. So you can either or, they're the same thing. Sure enough, this hits after hours, so most people can't even get involved. That is also after hours earnings, so you don't even really want to get involved when there's like post FOMC earnings and stuff. Look at how crazy volatile that was. Like on NQ, you would just blow an account. So don't worry about all that. Wait for it to come back and retest, and it actually did. Unfortunately, right here, it comes back and tests golden pocket perfectly, and I saw some confirmation of the order flow. But guess what? I was at a birthday dinner. I wasn't even at home, so I wasn't even looking at my computer. So I wasn't even. I was watching every now and then. I would check when I could without being rude. And I was trying to chat with a few guys in the chat, saying, if we don't like basically hold below 7140, then then longs are in play. And when I got back to my station later and I looked at the tape, I was like, oh yeah, it's longs for sure. And I'll show you why. But first I'm going to mark out a couple things. So one thing, if you were on NQ, you could have marked this out for standard deviation. You could have gone, okay, so NQ real quick. Oops, Jesus, what am I doing? Oh. So NQ takes previous high. Yes, not even close, right? So there's your SMT, big SMT, and could have marked it as manipulation. It was during Asia Open, so that is a key open. So what do we know? Standard deviation, you already know. Mark it out on the indice that does the manipulating, that creates SMT, so either creates the higher high or lower low. And in this case, it was NQ. I wasn't, again, birthday dinner, so I'm just showing you how you could have marked it out. So you see initial reaction off 2 standard deviation, that's valid. So yeah, once it crashes through here, you don't see a bunch of chopping and stuff. Crashes through here and then holds this area. So ICT terms breaks the structure, I guess. and then holds below. Initial reaction off 2 standard deviation, that's good, but that's not really a significant level. Again, we're lining these all up with what levels do they line up with. This 3 would have been, interesting because that is a big buyer down there, 27,100. So if we had got down there, I definitely would have looked at buying as well. But this 2.5, it lined up with the daily opening gap for NQ. It was a wickless open too, so that was a valid place for it to reverse if buys were continuing. And again on ES, yeah, it lined up right around that when that hit, it lined up with the ES hitting OTE. So yeah, there's your kind of double confluence there. I'll just get rid of this for now. But guess what happens? What happens is now ES does the manipulating. We are in, this is why I love it. This is why I love standard deviations on key opens. Another key open. So this was like a earnings low, lower low. Same one on NQ, higher low. Oops, right there. So ES does the manipulating. And it manipulates, this is a key open, this is a new 4-hour open, so 4-hour opens are key opens. And so we take 5-minute swing high to swing low of the manipulation leg, very simple right there. We see initial rejection off the 2 standard deviation, very strong rejection. We actually, if you want to dive into it real quick, where is it? Yeah, there it is. I was almost interested in sells. I took a quick scalp sell just because I basically, was 2 standard deviation, I saw this big sell come in. So I was like, oh, I'll join you. But I quickly got out once I saw these buys. Yeah, so see initial rejection here. 176 lots still to the downside. And then, yeah, big buys, skipped it right up. But before that, let's dig into the low that was created on that manipulation leg. Look at this. Oh God, if I was at my station, I would have been so excited. I would have definitely joined right here. Like I would have seen this volume tail off, and then immediate rebalance above here. I probably would have entered right there, honestly. As soon as it got back above and closed above 7140, I would have been in like Donkey Kong. So yeah, basically 1,100 lots sold to the downside, whether it was a stop out or some trap seller thinking they knew something and it was going to go lower. That would have been a mega pivot for me. I would have been like, okay, if we stay below this, we're selling down maybe another 100 points. That would have been like hundreds on NQ. But sure enough, buys are still valid. It's still an auction up. And yeah, we're still squeezing up. Every time people think that they've caught the top, the market is dunking on them. Yeah, so big sells right there, immediate rebalance. And then we see, look at these stacked imbalances. So again, we're reading footprints like a staircase. So 123 to 24, 113 to 10, 66 to 10. 66 to 10 again. But look, these are stacked right here. So that is probably this previous buyer wanting to push price aggressively away from his position into profit. He is moving the market right now. He's aggressively buying, and yeah, that's where I would look forward to defend. So if you're looking for continuation, again, if you're an ICT trader and you want a continuation out of a gap, I don't know, this is a 5-minute gap right here. This would have been great entry. I would have, taken entry right here and then just stop literally below 7140. It would have been like an 8-point stop. Pretty chill. Yeah, so that would have been optimal entry right there. If you missed that lower entry like I did, and I'm still at dinner right now, so I'm not even able to look at all this. When I got back again, I was like, oh my God, can't believe I missed that. I would have held it all freaking night. Yeah, so we see attempted sells. This was, I was at this point I'm watching. It's London session. I'm back home. At this point I'm watching, and I see these moves down actually. In the purple. That's how I have the sells for my setup. So in the purple, the selling volume, it actually it moved quite quickly, which I think is just it's just manipulation. Because I saw there's so many traders that were in the chat that were just like, oh, SMT, I think a lot of these were creating SMTs, and they're like, oh, SMT, that happened, like big sell kind of thing. It happened so fast. And just because it happens fast has nothing to do with the direction that it's going to move. Manipulations happen fast all the time. That's actually really often how they do happen, is fast. So when I saw these quick quick movements, but I'm looking at the tape and I don't see any actual like big sells here. I don't see any big sellers in the mix. And then I just see as soon as the seller volume starts to pile up at these lows, it immediately gets rebalanced. I'm like, this is just nothing. I don't care about any of this. Buyers are in control. Ever since 7150, buyers have proved that they are back in control. Sellers show is over. And then look at this. I remember seeing this and I saw a lot of people entered short after this because they thought that was it. Like this looked like it was coming in hot and heavy. And then immediately, I don't know if it was news or what, just immediately dunked on again. Just straight candle up, straight candle up. Then that's when we have our first sell. So I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. Had that quick scalp and then got out and I took longs right here, 71.70. As soon I mentioned it too, I was like big buyers. I was basically assuming that below this, maybe this seller was more in control back down to 7150s, and then from there, who knows? But above this, then we were just continuing to squeeze up. And then, sure enough, this was low, was these big buys right here, at least low of overnight session. And then you see some attempts at, probably this guy, some attempts at aggressive sells down here, again, at the lows, and then immediate rebalance. So you see these aggressive sells, these imbalances right here, they're not stacked really, it's just like one aggressive attempt. And then nothing after that, no continuation. So again, I have no faith in the seller right now. It's just all buys right now. And then, it held all the way up until, you're ready, 72.12. I just set a limit exit and it worked out perfectly. As soon as I saw this get overtaken, this 2.5 standard deviation, then this held right here, I just set a limit because I knew likely target was over, was at previous week high. And I even tapped Monday high. That would have been your perfect exit. I set it for 3 standard deviation right there. So that was my exit. Worked out pretty well. And then, it was good for me. It was a good enough move for me. I actually, catching that good or that decent of a move, I was happy with it. I just decided to go to bed and I was like, you know what, we'll see how tomorrow plays out. But I gamed it out. I told everyone, I said, hey, if 71.60, from what I've seen on the tape so far, if 71.60 holds, then 72.40 is your likely target. Why was 72.40 my likely target? Again, 71.60 from everything I said below about the heavy buying right around 71.50s. Aggressive buying 71.50s, and then 71.70 seeing really heavy buys as well. So I was pretty confident. I said if this range holds 71.60, then 72.40. And 4.5 standard deviation from this manipulation move in Asia. 4.5 is like your finisher move. It's either a reversal point or it's just the end of the day. Like that's usually as far as it's going to go. Sometimes it makes it to the 5, but usually 4.5 is a likely target, and 4.5 also lined up with this macro standard deviation, 3 standard deviation from there. So that was another good target for me. And you see now we're getting into the next session, Globex. Excuse me. But going into New York session, I was sleeping again, but I'll show you how you could have played it. Again, this can be on ES, but you can just follow along on NQ if you want. I'm sure it's probably pretty similar as well. Look at this. So, there's the high right there. Good exit for me. Exited 72.12, I think I said, something like that. Or no, not 72.12, 72.09, I think. Whatever 3 standard deviation was, 09. So that's where I exited. And then sure enough, right after you see 1.1K buys, it could be also stop out on the buy side, or it's just an idiot with a lot of money buying the tops and chasing. And then sure enough, New York opens and dumps, and sellers, take control for a little bit. A lot of buyers probably exited up here. That was a good exit, clean exit. And then sellers have some room to aggressively sell to the downside, but that level holds 71.60 again. 71.50 is the big buyer from previous night, 71.40, 71.50. That has been a macro buyer this entire week and last week. But sure enough, we see about 900 lots sold to the downside. Aggressive selling coming into these lows. And then price just really doesn't spend much time below it. It spends a little bit, aggressive sells even here at the bottom, so 200 lots or something, 180. And just immediately absorbed, fill in their bags. At this point, you know, you can assume, like I've talked about before with pension funds, Goldman has said that pension funds are doing their largest ever non-quarterly rebalancing. So basically, boomers are taking profit on their 401ks. That's the way you can look at it. So the underlying equities are being sold, futures are being bought to essentially prop up this squeeze until I think everyone has significantly sold what they want to sell, I guess. I don't know. And then we're going to really start seeing this market crater. But see about 900 lots sold to the downside. So that's a good area to look to flip. And then, yeah, that's where I would have entered if I was playing this again. As soon as we see back above 7170 area, I've said it before, yeah, above 7175, I think I said it on X, this market will squeeze. And yeah, there's some big buys around 7170, like I said, in London session. So as soon as we're back over here, we see more big buys, and then we see price follow. We see that's the important part. We see the big buyers, and then we see price move in that direction. So the aggressive buying is going with the big buyers. So we want to stick with the side that's in control. And then after that, yeah, it's just continues on. We get a little bit of chop here. We get a little bit of a fight around 7195. That's another kind of smaller pivot. Aggressive sellers are trying to move lower, but look at this. Look at all these aggressive sells, these big sells. They're at the lows, and then it never continues lower. That's how you know who's in control. It's more selling, we're selling. Again, we get to the low of this range, 71.90, 71.95. Sellers cannot push any lower. So, and then buyers just keep dragging it up. So yeah, this is kind of choppy. Obviously, you'd want to be involved down there, but yeah, you can be involved up there. Oh, and here's another confluence. No. Let's go back here. Okay, so Asia low, overnight high, London high, whatever you want to call it. Oops, sorry. Not from there. Oh, I'm on NQ. That's why it's not working. Yes, there we go. So Asia low. Right here. Overnight high. Switch it back. What do you know? Golden pocket saves your butt again. So this is where you would, all the other confluences aside, if you're just trading on a chart, right there, there's your 0.618 to 0.69, your golden pocket, your OT entry. So you could have just got involved in there. Sure, you take a little bit of wicks depending on where your entry is around here. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the order flow and you'd be like, oh, 7160, that's the composite POC. Big buys around that area too at 7150, so I'd be looking for that to hold. So I would get involved anywhere around here. The risk reward is great. And then, yeah, eventually you see the market squeeze in your direction. So yeah, look for that. Also, there was, what was it? I think it was, yeah, there was VWAP too. I think VWAP was coming right through here. It lined up right with, I think it was, yeah, I think it was OTE there. It was either OTE there. Oh no, it was overnight session that I remember seeing it. It's just because it's re-anchored for the new session. But VWAP, it literally like swooped in basically like this, lined up right with Monday low. It was literally like right there. That was your entry as well. That, I mean, that's where I got involved too. There were so many confluences at that point. It was like holding Monday low, broke above and then holding VWAP, big buy orders supporting. Yeah, there's so many damn confluences. It's just crazy. So yeah, there's your other confluence there. And then, yeah, sure enough, we move up 4.5 standard deviation. There's the end of your day move, ended right there. Now we're into the new session right here. Where do I think the market goes from here? Well, this is really interesting, actually. So I still have targets higher as far as like my overall target. It might do a little bit choppy. I don't know. But I found it really interesting as we got into the highs here. Big buys. Some of these might be stop outs, I don't know, but big buys overall. There's a lot of buying here. So I will find it oftentimes like the 4.5 doesn't always, it often reverses, but if it's a really strong breakout trend move, it will just hold it. That'll be like the final move, the end of the day price, and then the new day will start, and then we'll see continue the trend basically. I do not know. It's very possible that yeah, 72.30 holds. Or is that? I think that's where they're buying. Yeah, 72.32, like all this area. it's very possible that that holds and then continues higher. So I'm not sure how it will happen, but we're also end of the week, so it's dicey to try and figure out, it could just be a lot of chop action. We could revert a little bit down into the range. You never know. With some news, we could come back down and then fill out kind of this volume profile, this value area, and maybe come back down all the way. This was the initiative buyer at for this breakout, was at around 72.12, I believe, right here. Yeah, so initiative buyer right around here, 72.11, 72.12, or 72.14, in between there. So I would look for that to be the lowest point for it to retest. I don't really want it to go all the way back down there since we've already broken out of this thick range that we've been in for about 2 weeks. So yeah, I anticipate it'll probably hold 72.30 area. That would be possibly a low for tomorrow and then move up. But basically, I don't even know if I'll trade tomorrow because we've already made like a larger scale move for the week, and that was our expansion. Usually after our expansion, we're going to get some type of mean reversion or chop. We'll see. I don't know. And because we're looking at, this is the macro TR pocket, if you know, you know, that I've been talking about right in here, 7,300, 7,320. I'll be looking for max absorption and rejection up here. They might even chop it a little bit. I don't think it'll be super clean. But yeah, I basically will be looking for this to be possibly a market top. It's lining up with so many confluences with data, obviously with the war. This war, I think, is really just starting. Once the Pentagon sinks their teeth into a war, they don't just leave. So yeah, I believe we're in the start of an extended conflict. The Strait of Hormuz, yeah, this is just what is going on right now in the world. Like, the ripple effects are only just going to be starting to be felt, and I feel like that is why we've had this insane short squeeze, is just because it is going to get so bad, and there were so many shorts piled up that yeah, market makers were like, well, before we really let the news hit about how bad this is, we're just going to take out basically every short, and we're going to make retail think the market only goes up. And then just at that point, when that happens, when everyone can only see green, and we've absolutely dusted all the shorts every time they've tried to get involved, and then we're going to dump it. So yeah, I'll be looking for that 7,300, 7,320 ES to be basically the top of this market cycle. We will see. Anyways, hopefully that helped, and yeah, everyone enjoy the rest of your week. Cheers.